Something I noticed early running cold email for our clients is that a lot of the time, reply rates are simply a writing problem. Don't get me wrong, infrastructure and list quality matters, but when two people send to the same list with the same setup and one gets 2% reply rate and one gets 10%, typically the difference is in the email copy itself. And after sending over 2 million cold emails, helping clients book 3,000 sales meetings, I've seen pretty clearly what makes that difference. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I write cold emails that hit 15% or higher reply rates. So you can just copy my process. Let's get into it. The first thing I noticed looking across our best performing campaigns is that emails getting the highest reply rates almost never had the highest production quality. And let me explain. They are short, specific, and written like they were sent to one person. Those were the ones that worked. The ones I overcomplicated for no reason, making sure every word was a certain way, those were often sitting at 1-2% reply rate. The common theme was that the high performing emails all gave the prospect a clear reason to respond to that specific email from that specific sender. The prospect doesn't know you yet, so reasons built around the product or company won't land at this stage. The email just has to give them a specific reason to reply, something that makes sense for their situation right now. Let me give you an example of a campaign that is overperforming for one of our clients. They have salespeople that can directly book an in-person meeting. So our angle is, hey, are you going to be around the next week? We are showing how we solve this problem. Do you have 10 minutes so I can go and we can meet in person? In this specific example, the prospect will reply, hey, I'm not interested, or hey, I'm not available next week, but I am in 2 weeks, or hey, I'm not available, please contact with X. So the question I start with now, before I write anything, is what will make this specific person to respond to this email today? That question changes every decision you make. The subject line, the opening line, the body, and your call to action, of course. By the way, everything I'm about to show you, I run through Smartlead. Sequences, deliverability, and analytics all in one place. If you want to try it out, you can get started for free by clicking the first link in the description. Now, let's get into the actual writing. So let's quickly log in and create a campaign. Okay, sequences. All right, subject lines and opening lines. The subject line is the first decision the prospect makes about whether to open it or ignore your email. Most people write subject lines like headlines and try to make them sound compelling. What actually works is the opposite. Short and lowercase is the best. Something that reads, it could have come from a college. So, for example, we use always around 3 variations so we can test all of them and we spin tax them. In my opinion, some subject lines that will work forever will be these ones. For example, quick question about company name, idea for name. You see here that I am using these symbols because this is spin text. I always use spin text when I write subject lines and also in my messages. Then there is the opening line, which is where most people spend the least time, but it's actually the most important sentence in the email. I mean, it's even more important than the subject line, but people still think that the subject line is the most important thing, but not. The first line is the most important thing. If the subject line got them to opening, the opening line determines whether they keep reading or close the tab. My rule is that the first sentence has to reference something specific to the prospect, whether that's something they said, something their company is doing, or a situation they are currently in. And that first sentence matters a lot because it shows up as the preview text in the inbox right next to the subject line. So before someone even decides to open your email, they've already seen that first line. It has to earn the open and earn the read at the same time. For example, first name, I tried reaching out Marta. This is one example. Another example that we can use, you are making a campaign for an event, you can just say, these are 2 examples of subject lines we are using right now, and they are performing really well. All right, once the opening line is doing its job, the body should really be just three things in the right order: the problem or situation you are addressing, what you do about it, and why it's relevant to them specifically. That's it. You are not pitching the full product. You are just giving them enough context to understand why this email landed in their inbox. Most body sections fail because either they skip the problem entirely and jump straight to the offer, or they explain the offer and the prospect feels like they already got what they needed and don't need to reply. Okay, let me quickly explain this message. Hi, first name, I tried reaching out to Marta, let's say other college, but I wanted to contact you personally as well. I was looking at Google results for keyword 1 and keyword 2 in location and noticed that company is currently showing around page 3. We recently helped a similar company type, let's say we are working with maybe gyms, I don't know, whatever, move on to the first page of Google. And I think there may be a clear opportunity to do the same for you. Would you mind if I send over a quick video showing what I'd improve, so you can either implement it yourself or decide if it's worth speaking with us? Best. Okay, let's analyze this message. First line, personalized. Let's say we are contacting other people in the same department, or maybe the co-founder, whatever. Someone that also makes decisions. Then we have another personalization, and this is a problem. I mean, you are not in the first page of Google, so that's the pain, that's the problem. Then we have social proof, and we are also using a soft call to action, as you can see here. We are not asking for a 30 minutes call, we just give them the possibility to choose if they want a video or not, and once they see the video, if they want to continue talking or not. And now let's talk about the call to action. Even if your whole email is solid, like this same example, if you don't get this right, nothing you did beforehand really matters. Asking for too much early gives the prospect a reason to say no before they even fully know what you are offering. For example, asking for a 30-minute demo in a first email is a lot to ask of a complete stranger. You'll still get replies that way, but you'll get fewer of them. And of course, if you are contacting local businesses, it's an easier market, of course. If you are trying to contact a chief marketing officer of a 500 employee SaaS, will be real difficult to close a call unless your offer is super unique. But something that you need to take into consideration if you use hard CTAs like asking for a call directly is, the upside. The upside is the people who do reply positively are very high intent. So what works better is a soft ask. Can I send you a quick breakdown? Can I send you an example? Can I send you a quick video? With this, the prospect only has to say yes or no without some calendar commitment. There's lower intent on average, but that's a much better position to start a conversation from. What's the thing here? That if someone says, yeah, I want the video, you can create a subsequence and you can directly add this prospect to the subsequence so you can send the video. Of course, it really depends if you want to share a generic video or a personalized video. But you can create subsequences for also doing follow-ups to these leads that reply yes at the first stage. Alright, let's now talk about testing. I always assume the first version of an email I write is just a baseline. The combination that actually hits 15% or higher reply rates usually requires a few test cycles. I run A/B tests in opening lines first because that element drives the open rate and the initial reply decision. Smartlead Analytics dashboard shows you the split between open rate and reply rate, and that tells you exactly where to look. In my case, we don't track open rates because we want to increase as much as possible the possibilities of reaching the inbox, but what we take into account always is how many people do I need to contact so I can get a positive reply. That's for us our main KPI. And of course, the reply rate. As you can see here, we contacted 600 leads and we got 20% reply rate, 100% cold leads. So inside, you can see here everything. The reply rate, how many emails have been sent per day, and also a lot of data that you won't see some of them because there is some clients information here, but this is something that we use on a daily basis for all of our clients. And of course, this is what we use also for showing the reports to all our clients as well. Once you find a combination that works for a specific segment, you have a starting point. You can build feature campaigns around for that same ICP. Now, if you want to start running and testing campaigns like this, you can get started with Smartlead for free clicking the first link in the description. You'll be able to build your sequences, run your A/B tests, and track your reply rates all in one place, so you know exactly what's working and what to improve next. Again, you can get started for free clicking the first link in the description. And if you want to see what the data actually looks like when you run a cold email campaign from scratch, then make sure to watch this video next.